Hello everyone, my name is Morganite and welcome to Valiant Hearts Upon Completion. So with this series, I'm basically doing short little reviews after I finish the game, and yes, I do realize a lot of these games are older and have been out for a while, so, most people will see reviews from the major reviewers, but I just kind of wanted to have a place where I could talk about my personal reactions other than just through the Let's Plays. And I've had a few requests to do this, so let's give it a try. I'm not going to spoil anything major plot-wise, but don't watch or listen to this if you want to play the game blind. So for those who aren't familiar with the title, or who haven't watched my Let's Play series, and the link is in the description below if you're interested, here's a quick summary about the game. Valiant Hearts: The Great War was published by Ubisoft back in 2014, and it's a surprising gem. It's a video game that feels like an independent game despite having been created by a large publisher. It's a well-researched work of historical fiction that takes place during World War I and has a surprising amount of humor despite being willing to delve into the less pleasant aspects of the war, which was most of it, because war sucks. So you play as one of four characters. Emile, who's an older French citizen drafted into the war, Carl, who is Emile's son-in-law who is dragged off to fight in the German army, Freddie, who's an American who volunteered for the French Foreign Legion for personal reasons, Anna, a field nurse who's formerly a veterinarian, and she's looking for her father. And finally you have Walt, which is an adorable dog whose name took me far too long to learn, and who helps out with your other characters in puzzle solving and by generally being adorable. So, what makes this game so different from other World War I themed games? Several things. At the surface, and probably the most obvious reason, is the visuals. The cartoon animation is completely adorable, which was probably a conscious choice on behalf of Ubisoft to make the subject matter bearable rather than rendering the game completely unplayable due to the horrific nature of the background subject matter. It's also a puzzle game and not an action shooter, so realistically rendered characters were completely unnecessary. And the more approachable illustrations also help to make the game appeal to a younger audience, which for a game that has a surprising amount of historical factoids is an admirable goal. And who says you can't learn anything from video games? Although you should probably note that despite having heard a lot of these French words pronounced properly multiple times in this game, I still can't pronounce French. I'm terrible. So as you play the game, you unlock different bits of history regarding certain battles and terms through just major plot points and finding collectibles that are hidden in the game. And while I was a huge fan of these, I also do appreciate that the game doesn't force you to read them, meaning that it won't alienate people who didn't sign up for a history lesson in their game. I personally did read all of them, and in my Let's Plays, that's a big part of them, and it's why the episodes were as long as they were. And I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but I personally, again, found it very, very interesting. And I've absorbed, I thought I've absorbed quite a bit of World War I knowledge over the years, thanks in part to the History Channel, back when it was still airing history and not whatever the heck it's turned into now. Anyway, despite my educational osmosis, I ran into a plethora of historical tidbits in Valiant Hearts that I had not been aware of, and personally I felt that it enhanced the gameplay to take the time to read them. So the actual gameplay is pretty simple. It's usually moving just side to side with occasional needs to climb or pull levers or throw items, basic interacting kind of stuff. And this is a game that's all about manipulating your environment via puzzle solving rather than actual combat. And the characters around you take care of the combat part, although sometimes you get to drive vehicles and engage in boss fights, but they're not your typical boss fights or general combat. The occasional boss battles do tend to step up the difficulty, but it's usually really only a matter of learning the pattern. The only real complaint I had with regards to the game mechanics were several occasions in the latter half of the game where I had problems discerning what objects could actually be interacted with. The first time this happened was in this section here, where I'm supposed to cut the rope in order to drop the sticks, and then I'm supposed to pick up a stick and throw it to trigger a bomb. And it's a simple enough puzzle, stuff like this has been done before. However, the rope here appears to be in the plane behind Freddy, and the game had previously taught me that items that weren't on the same plane as the controlled character can't be interacted with. So it actually took me longer than I'd like to admit to even try to cut the rope. And this kind of thing happened a few more times, and I'm honestly not sure if it was just me being really dense in these situations, or if the creators actually did break their earlier rules. If anyone else had this problem, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to find out. So where I felt that the game was most successful was in generating an emotional bond with the player. Pretty much everyone I've talked to who has played the game or watched someone else play it was pretty choked up at the end. And despite several fake out deaths, the game really does keep you hoping that everyone will make it through, despite the fact that the game pretty much outright tells you that not all of them will. And all of the characters have engaging storylines, which often tie back into another character's path. The game gives us characters from different sides of the conflict, showcasing that these are just normal people. Emil in particular is used to great effect. At one point, he befriends a random German soldier when they're both caught in a tunnel collapse and need each other to survive, only to have him later facilitate the soldier's death in an explosion upon the order of his officers. And he's not very happy about that either. This game hits you right in the feels time and time again. All said, I absolutely loved this game. Despite a few moments of janky controls and several obnoxious puzzles and the occasional visual plane fail, which again might just have been me, this game was a complete joy to play. The seriousness of the topic and the fact that much of these characters' experiences, if taken in pieces, were things that soldiers experienced during World War I made the game that much more impactful for me. It's not a perfect game, but it's damn close, and anyone who enjoys historical-based games or action puzzlers should add this to their collection. So that's my opinion upon completion of Valiant Hearts. If you had similar experiences or came away with a completely different experience or feelings, I'd love to hear it. And yes, I do know that this game is a few years out, but do try not to spoil the end. As always, thank you for watching. My name's been Morganite, and I hope to see you again.